Aaron, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to the Vincent Charles Project. I am your host, Mr. Vincent Charles. And,
Working.
there we go.
I'm gonna make this fucking work. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Okay. Dude, you had me worried.
Dude,
we're live, brother. We're live.
Oh, we're live. We're live.
We're live. Ladies and gentlemen.
Shit, dude. I promised people a fucking dance. Here we go. This is the new theme song to your guys' show.
Okay.
Now I start my strip tease while I list off intelligence agencies.
Okay. There you go.
You like this?
Throw some virtual money at him. But ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't noticed, this is already our guest, Mr. Adam Simon.
Sirens going off. The power went out. I'm not shitting you. So I was talking to you on Twitter. The power goes out, and the sirens start going off. And then it asks me for an encryption key to get my messages back. And then I just guessed. I was like, I think the last key that I put into Twitter like a year ago was like the last 4 of my social. So I typed it in, and then like all of a sudden the messages came back. It was like, "Are you okay, brother?" And I'm like, "Yeah." That's the last time I send a link to the show to John Kirkhow.
Dude, oh my God, we were just sitting here where we're going to give you 5 minutes, and then we just said, fuck it, we're going to go live. And no sooner did I hit the switch than you show up. But man, I was starting to shit peach pits because I thought, oh shit, man, they got him, they fucking got him.
Yeah. As I'm sitting, and by the way, you guys hearing me okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So but while we're sitting here, like now that Jonathan Pollard's trending, I'm sure in the middle of our conversation, I'm just going to be like, so anyways, guys, do you want to talk about Gray Fox? I'll just fucking be dead. They'll just get rid of me. So dude, where do we start? Where do you guys want to start? Where did you? I'll let you guys lead. We can freaking go. I'm ready to like just rapid fire on everything, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Dude,
most importantly, I'm most excited about your cookbook and the title that we need to come up for your cookbook.
Dude,
I'm writing a forward for that.
Actually, I should let you. And see, the thing is, I've got I work off an iPhone, and that little notes program that you have. I have literally. Right. Let me go in here and let me see. I have 349 notes.
Jesus Christ!
And I'd say a good 98% of them are recipes, including my famous soup of the night. It's not soup of the day. Soup of the night is more mysterious and delicious, I think.
This guy says pair recipes with different movies from Tubi.
Oh, that's Janelle. Yes. Janelle?
Nice.
Holy shit.
That'd be very nice.
Yeah, that's going on the big screen.
That's good.
Yeah, while you're talking about soup, I just whipped up a butternut squash and pear soup today. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
This is freaking awesome. So
okay, everybody, I want you to know the cookbook is a good idea, and we'll get to that at the end of the show. But I invited Adam on for a reason. Number one, he's an exceptionally fucking cool dude. Number two, he's an exceptionally talented fucking dude, because the laundry list of things that he's done, and I'm just going to go over a couple, because the Hooray Me sheet that he sent, all of the stuff that he's done. He wrote a film called Point Blank, which aired on Netflix, directed by Joe Lynch, and starred Anthony Mackie, Marcia Gay Harden, Frank Grillo, Tiona Paris, and Marcus Moore. He's also the lead writer. If you have HBO Max, pay special attention. He was the lead writer for One Day in October, which is an 8-episode miniseries that surrounds the events of October 7th, 2023. And it was shot on location in Israel. And it's playing on there now, so be sure to fucking watch it. And he's done a lot of production work. He's, still active. But one of the coolest things, before he started his professional career in Hollywood, he worked as a bodyguard and close protection specialist, which I found absolutely fucking fascinating. Plus, I actually saw a picture of him in his that magazine cover you sent me.
Oh,
That
Soldier of
photograph.
Fortune.
Yes, he was
Yeah,
on the cover of Soldier of Fortune, which is fucking amazing. And you need to post that on Twitter, bro. You seriously need to.
I pissed off so many people that day. Anyway,
Dude is he is tactical and put quotes around the cool. And
Well,
um
I've been
he's also,
talking about how I wish I had bought more out of the back of Soldier of Fortune magazine back in the 80s.
oh, please tell me about it.
I wonder if I can
Oh
put
my
this in the
god.
chat. Let me see.
Oh man,
Oh my god.
HKs for days.
Yeah, HKs and SKS rifles for like $89 and all that stuff. And it was, oh man, we didn't know how good we had it. But
Yeah.
also, one of the most important things, Adam is an advocate for the homeless because he was once homeless himself. And he speaks as an advocate for homeless veterans and survivors of abuse. And Adam,
Yeah, man.
thank you so much for, number one, being cool, and number two, coming on the show to talk with us. So what
Man,
I'm
love
going
you.
to do is, dude, I've taken the chain off. Go nuts. Start talking.
Well, you know, the thing that's kind of popped up in the news now, and people don't know because I take that back. It hasn't been like announced, but it's on my IMDb. It's a series called Mice, MICE, which stands. It's
That's an
the
acronym. Yes, I know exactly. Yeah. Oh,
money,
yeah.
ideology, coercion,
Extortion.
elephant.
Yeah, I think it's extortion. Yeah.
I don't know. Elephant sounds good too, but I love these acronyms.
But
Like,
oh my
dude,
god, the first time I heard of that that acronym, after Ian Fleming died, a writer called John Gardner took over the James Bond series,
I know who that
and
is.
that was in the second book he wrote called Icebreaker, and they discussed that in detail, the mice acronym and what it stood for, and I was like fucking 14, 15 years old reading this shit. I thought I was high speed. It's like, wow, I know spy lingo. But
Yeah, man. You know, and the Mice series is about Jonathan Pollard. So for the past 6 years, I have been following the life of Jonathan Pollard. I met with him. I flew to Israel. This is right before October 7th. And then I got pulled away from that series. That series got put on hold, and then I started working on the October 7th project. And I got to meet with survivors. I got to meet with, you know, these two girls who survived the Nova massacre by hiding in a porta potty for 72 hours. And survivors, this woman who survived, her entire kibbutz was wiped out, and she was one of the few survivors, actually rescued by a Muslim kid who called his family that were Bedouins in Gaza, and they came over and rescued them. So it was a very like unique story and something that you don't really hear about. But kind of halfway through the project, and I stand by the episodes that I wrote. So I wrote 3 episodes, right? And it was very just kind of like for them. Because at first I was like, this is ambulance chasing. This is whack. I'm not going to participate in this. And then they were like, no. We like, this is about the survivors. And I mean, dude, this is right after October 7th. So I meet with them, and I was so like floored just in kind of what they had been through and these very unique stories, right? And so I was like, I want to tell this, but I want one free creative reign to tell this in a way that isn't just like a documentary film, and then also want like access. I want access to the survivors. So that was all going well. And then halfway through, I kind of felt like Indiana Jones at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like all of a sudden I'm sitting in an office, and then this dude is sitting across from me with an Israeli accent. And he's like, we have top people that will take it from here. And I'm like, what people? And he's like, top. And I'm like, okay. And so the rest of the episodes kind of took on a different angle and a different kind of slant. I didn't agree with it. So as true to Adam form, I ended up kind of butting heads. Sorry, this is the Tactical Frog. This is my dear friend, the Tactical Frog. And the Tactical Frog is going to say things that I can't. And somebody off screen is actually going to be doing the voice of the Tactical Frog. So occasionally he'll chime in. He's got kind of a Cockney voice where he's like, you fuckers ain't tactical at all. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about things like Grey Fox and JSOC and all this shit that's going on behind the scenes, because Adam over here needs something called plausible fucking deniability. Anyway, so let's get back to the story at hand. So anyway,
It's like
Tactical
movie.
Frog. What color is the boathouse in your
Tactical Frog loves tactics. He loves speaking about things tactically. He spends his time doing elevator drills with a rubber band gun while he's playing the kazoo. And then and his favorite movies are Collateral, Heat, but he's very tactical. Anyway, so where was I going? So so midway through writing this, like I have this meeting, right? And these guys kind of take the series in a different way, and I'm just going, well, this is kind of like getting into propaganda land. Like, listen, I met with survivors who told me, they said, look, whether it was the fog of war or some kind of conspiracy or whatever, like there was an Israeli helicopter that flew over and strafed this field that was filled with people from Hamas and also Israelis. There was another moment where this person standing on the roof of his house, you can see the soldiers, the IDF down the street, and he's waving to them like, get the fuck in here. Like, they're killing us, get in here. And then it just, they didn't. And so what is that? Like, what is that as the people are throwing out, is that a stand down order? Like, what is that? And I'm asking these questions and I'm going, look, like these other episodes aren't just about somebody trying to survive something, like there's something else going on. We need to talk about it. And they're like, nah, we're not going to do that. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck it, I'm out. So I'm not showing up in press releases or anything like that. So, but I'm on there. Now back to Jonathan Pollard. So that was my first kind of experience. It's like the movie you love to hate, Vince, is Princess Bride, to like quote it when he's coming up and he's like, take the rope. And he's like, well, you're waiting around to kill me. I'm not going to take the rope. And he's like, I could give you my word as a Spaniard. And he's like, no good. I've known too many Spaniards. So that was kind of like my experience with dealing with Israelis inside of Israeli intelligence, at least on that side. I've had that experience in Hollywood too, like with people coming into a project like Man Down, military consultants and things like that. And I'm just going, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you guys are coming in and trying to, take something over. It also happened when we had a rough cut of the film, and then these people that were representing like how the military is presented in movies sat down and said, we love it. This is great. We want to get our support behind it, and we can do that. You just need to change the whole fucking ending to the movie, have him get help from the VA, and then it ends up being a happy ending. And then people love happy endings, don't they? And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Fuck off. The VA at the time was failing in their job to be able to take care of veterans. So you guys can eat all the dicks in the world, and the ending is going to be sad. And then it just so happens right after that, the movie premieres at the Venice, Italy Film Festival. It's, gets a standing ovation. And then all of a sudden, all these articles start coming out, trashing the film. People are trying to deep six the film. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I have that experience now. So sorry, that's around the world. I've just had this kind of multiple experiences with governments, intelligence agencies, people getting involved in creative processes and turning them into propaganda, which is why I'm producing, directing my own shit now. my own stuff that I write, because there's too many agendas. There's too many people that are involved in films because they're powerful, in television series, and they're powerful. So Jonathan Pollard obviously is no exception. What was great about the Pollard experience, though, and I'm blasting you guys with this, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up, and then we could talk about questions. But it's like, I got into little tiffs with a couple people that love going on podcasts and talking shit. Like the Bustamante types, like guy with the big fro, and he's like, I'm gonna teach you all the CIA tricks. And it's like, okay. Every time I see him, he reminds me of those troll dolls that you, like go like this, and the hair just fucking goes crazy.
Dude can't spell CIA without being coached.
Yeah.
What was that?
I'm gonna take him to bingo with me next time. Rub his head full up.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that's, and he's like, all the secrets, all the guys going on podcasts spilling CIA secrets, and I'm just like, dude, it's funny because mainstream media, it's like the guys were behind the scenes, kicking out propaganda and feeding talking points to news anchors and shit, and now it's just like those guys that were feeding talking points, they got their own fucking podcast, and they're just kicking out the fucking talking points. It's everywhere.
It's like I say. It's like I say. The other day I posted something. I looked and I said, what's the average body count for ASOC and other special op commands in the military? And they said about roughly 70 to 75,000, including reserve components. So I said, on Twitter, I said, the average number of special operations personnel in the United States military runs at about 75,000, and 5 million are on Twitter. And that's exactly what the fuck it is, because nobody. All right, I'll tell you my experience with special op guys. I was down in Florida. I was with 6th Ranger Training Battalion at Eglin Air Force Base. I worked as a medic. I was a medic instructor. That's all I did. I worked with a lot of RIs, Ranger instructors. I mean, they had fucking medals out the wazoo. They had combat patches out the wazoo. They were the most relaxed and groovy motherfuckers in the world. And then, I'd be working with them, and then 2 days later, they'd be gone. And it's like, where'd he go? Oh, he's on a tasking. He'll be back in a month. It's like, okay. That was the extent of it. I just followed the students out in the swamp, make sure nobody got fucking crotch rot or died or anything like that.
Right.
But everybody else, they come on here and it's like, oh, I did this. They're like fucking, they've got Malcolm Nance disease.
Dude.
Basically, that fucking PNG, I swear to fuck.
Dude, Malcolm Nance is like the gift that keeps on giving. I feel like, it's been so fun, dude. Like you... who's the other guy on Twitter? Snake Eater, the WTF guys.
Red. What the fuck?
Yeah. And the what the fuck moments guys. Because I felt like 3 years ago, whenever the fuck, actually it was probably more, 4 years ago or whatever, when you and I met on the jousting field. I felt like I just didn't know. Like I didn't know. Like you guys would get into these tiffs and like talk, and all of a sudden you're talking about forms and IDs and medals and paperwork, and I'm like, and people are laughing in the comments like, ah ha ha ha, like you made a joke, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what you guys are talking about, like zero. And I think most like regular people, like civilians or whatever, like they don't have a clue too, so like they just avoid that. And I'm like, no, I gotta learn this shit. And then the Pollard Project came around, and dude, like these guys that are popping off, whether it's Dave Smith, and listen, I love his comedy. I agree with him like 9 times out of 10 on the shit that he says, but it's like this guy going, what a disgrace, Mike Huckabee meeting with Jonathan Pollard, he's a fucking traitor, and all these other motherfuckers popping off out the mouth. Yeah, he should be killed. And John, who spent his own time in prison, it's very wild. Bustamante saying this thing. I don't think Sarah Adams has really said anything about it. Sean Ryan's gal. And I love what she does too. Like, I love that she's talking about how we're funding the Taliban, like all this stuff. But it's like the past 6 years, like I didn't just read a fucking book. I didn't just have a class, you know, like John, or knew some of the people that were involved. He's a high level dude. But it's like, if you want to know the truth, you got to get your fucking hands dirty. And I knew I was going to have to get my hands dirty. And why? Because I met with Pollard and I knew I was being played. Like, I knew he was telling me what I wanted to hear. He was very endearing. He was very loving. And it, you know, I wrote this other script called Bully Market. It's by Jamie Fiore Higgins. She wrote the book. She was the woman that was a managing director at Goldman Sachs, ended up turning around suing Goldman Sachs. I wrote her book into a story, and I had a similar experience of like talking to her for weeks, and I just wasn't getting the truth out of her. And so I knew there was a red button item, and I kept getting closer to it. And then I finally pushed the button, and she snapped and then revealed all this stuff to me. Well, the same kind of situation happened with Pollard, but you're not going to, dude spent 30 years in prison, right? And never cracked with the FBI. So it's like, and they beat the shit out of him. He had horrific shit happen to him in prison. He was raped. He had all kinds of stuff that happened. He was tortured. And so I'm not going to get anything out of this fucking guy. I'm a screenwriter. Like, I'm not going to get anything out of him. So I got his story. I listened to him. But then I spent time in Doha. I spent time in Qatar. I spent time in the UK. And I know, you know, somebody from Hydra is sitting down going, okay, where did he say he spent his time? Where the fuck did he say he went? But they already know. Welcome to the program.
Like, where was he? Can we confirm
where
that?
was he? Where was he? But I talked to relatives of Manager Gabanafor, who is the arms dealer who basically facilitated Iran-Contra, like he was involved. Spoke to his business partner. And in the screenplay that I wrote for the pilot, and I think that's why State Department snagged me and interrogated me for 3 days when I was in Bosnia. I think it's because that script had gotten out and people were like, oh, that's not good. Because at the front of the screenplay, and I'll send it to you so you guys can read it, I wrote, all of this is true. And it's funny because the few producers who read it, they were like, I don't know if I agree with this thing in here. And this little transcript, or Ronald Reagan is talking to Casper Weinberger about this little black kid, and he's trying to remember his name and ends up being Webster from the TV show because he's sitting at the table. And his obsession with Webster and Nancy's obsession with Webster and the show Webster, while Casper Weinberger is trying to tell him, hey, we can't be having conversations about these weapons deals that are going on, Mr. President. So like, no more conversations about that. And he keeps peppering Casper with like, who the fuck is this? Is Emmanuel Lewis? You know, who's Emmanuel Lewis? And finally Casper goes, he's Webster. Like he's Webster, sir. Like, and then he's like, can we get back onto this? You know, it's a real fucking conversation. Like, I read the transcript. It's a real fucking conversation. Here's the other one. Manager Gabanafor and his guy, Hashem, anyway, his contact, this other really shady fucking character, Aldrich Ames. I talked to people that were around with Aldrich Ames. I talked to all of his people that were on his block, cellmates. I talked to all kinds of fucking people, not just the agents, not just the guy who wrote the book about Pollard, not just, you know, the FBI agent who, if you look him up, this isn't a joke, has the exact voice of fucking Bugs Bunny. It's hilarious. The guy who interrogated Pollard, he's like, so, Jonathan Pollard, you want to tell me all your secrets? You know, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is a cartoon show. It's amazing. So, but like, I interviewed all these people, right? Like, I met with them, and I met with them on their home turf, and I did that for a reason, right? Like, I went to these fucking countries, and I met with these people because I wanted to know as close as I could get to like the truth. One of the conversations that was in there was a conversation that the FBI taped, and they weren't fucking supposed to tape it because it was in France. They were doing an operation that they weren't fucking supposed to be doing, but they taped this conversation between Manager Gabanafor and this other arms dealer. And the whole thing basically was an hour-long conversation about whether lobster and shellfish is halal, which was fucking hilarious. And they're arguing, and then the food gets cold, and then that leads to another argument. But then they actually, they get into like, look, we need to do this because this is going to further our interests in the Middle East, and this is how it's going to go down. So I put all this in the script, and I put the conversations with Sela, who is Pollard's handler. But I also, talked to people in Pollard's family. His father, was a professor at Notre Dame. Like these people were very patriotic. And so this idea, like John goes on this fucking podcast and he goes, it's very simple. Pollard gave up, all the secrets to America. He's a fucking traitor. He should have been shot, in my opinion. But he gave up all the secrets for money. And it's that simple. $40,000, John? Like that's the highest estimation. $40,000 for 2 years of intelligence work? Get the fuck out of here. Like, shut up. Like, or is it?
That's fry cook money.
Right? And this is the last thing I'll say, and then you guys can ask away, and I will answer anything you ask me. But, it's like, it's not that fucking simple, John. Like, it's not that simple. And it's not just, Americans are so fucking stupid. Like CIA, FBI, like those are mascots. Those are fucking welcome mats. Like Kash Patel is a mascot. Dan Bongino is a fucking mascot. Like that's it. That's not who runs shit. Like it's all it's the 80 other fucking, units and agencies within agencies that are fucking running shit, that have unlimited money, that do whatever the fuck they want to meet a certain goal, to meet a certain objective, and to meet a certain end. And so Jonathan Pollard, yes, the duality is a concern for sure. And when somebody goes, well, but I'm an Israeli first problem, right? And that's definitely if you're fucking working intelligence, but it's baked in, right? Like, so the understanding is that the United States is going with giant fucking intelligence as to their allies if there is a threat. They expect the fucking same. That's the understanding. Unless at the time it's fucking Israel, right? And so the United States, in what Jonathan Pollard was that the United States arming the enemies of Israel to make a buck. I'm paraphrasing. So you want to talk about a guy accepting money if you think realistic. Well, how about the United States? The United States accepting all money for all the fucking monsters that they created around the Middle East. And let's start there. So what I saw with my eyes, and another reason why I got picked up in Bosnia, but what I saw with my eyes were chemical companies in the United States. One out of Boca Raton, Florida, that was funded by a fucking terrorist known at the time in the 80s. That shipment was flagged by the CDC. It was cyanide. That shipment of cyanide made it to Iraq and was used in a chemical weapons attack against Iran. That was done by a subsidiary of the CIA. There's another chemical company that's outside of Langley, outside of Virginia, and another I don't say chemical weapons. It's a chemical company, right? And there's another one that's in Florida as well. It's not in Boca Raton, but those two places, and then another one out of Atlanta. Those are the ones that I know about. Those are the ones that I saw. One of them makes genetically modified Lyme disease, genetically modified West Nile virus, that makes it so they go, what the fuck is this? I don't know. You're dying of something. Maybe it's in your head, soldier. But because it's really hard to detect, those two things, cyanide and mustard gas, those were shipped. to Iraq. And once they were in Iraq, were put together into weapon systems by German engineers and by, you could say CIA contractors, but it's like 5, entities deep, right? But they're still under the CIA umbrella. And so they put these things together. Then they give logistical support to Iraq in this attack against Iran, which is a bioweapons attack. It's against the Geneva Convention. It's all kinds of fucked up. But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Except for the United States is doing this to fuck everybody. They're like, hey, Iraq, you want something? Hey, guess what, Iran? They're selling they've got these new chemical weapons. So we're going to give you the antidotes. See? So you could treat these people, right? And they're doing this all the fuck over the place. Then they go to Israel and they go, my God, you guys, these guys have got these weapons. So we definitely need to arm you. You can buy these weapon systems from us and we'll work with you to make these weapon systems to keep you safe. Fucking David Sling and fucking the Iron Dome and all this other shit, right? So America's making money hand over fist. But that's all good because we're a beacon on a hill. Fuck off. Like, that's not it. All of these subsidiary entities, and this is why the CIA can go, it's not us. And it's why the NSA can go, not us. And why all these agencies can go, not us, because they're welcome mats. They're fucking mascots. It's all these other entities that are fucking doing it. And what they're doing is they're creating monsters and lighting fires around the world for military men and women to put out with their blood. And that's it. And so Jonathan sees this and goes, holy shit. Like, Saddam Hussein has these weapons. Saddam Hussein has said that he wants to wipe Israel off the face of the fucking map. Iran has had the same motive. So like, these guys have weapons that, they drop this thing in Tel Aviv and it's game over. Like, they drop any of this shit, you're going to have millions dead. Like, so I got to do something. So he's putting out feelers. He gets contacted by this guy, a colonel, who ends up being his handler and starts feeding information to Mossad. Then people say, well, Jonathan Pollard cost lives and people died. No, that's incorrect. Because what happened at the time was Aldrich Ames, who was a fucking scumbag and a terrible fucking human being, did horrific shit, got all kinds of people killed. Jonathan Pollard became the scapegoat for his actions. And quite honestly, the agencies that were handling Ames and Hansen, who was another fucking scumbag, our agencies that were handling those two fucks, that was a big agency fuck up. They were like, we need some time to kind of manage this, arterial bleed. So we're going to pin a lot of the shit on Pollard. And Pollard was exonerated of all of that shit. And this is why his release was facilitated by Clinton. That's not saying much. Obama, also not saying much. But then Trump pardoned Pollard's handler. So all these people that are saying Mike Huckabee met with Jonathan Pollard, fuck that guy, Pollard's a traitor. Well, what about the president that you support that pardoned his handler? Nada? Nothing? No? Okay. Like, all this double speak, double standard like shit, and everybody wants to make these lines in the sand when it's all gray and it's all fucked up. So fast forward, right? Here's another little piece of information that I'm going to give out to everybody that nobody fucking knows. There is testimony, sealed testimony, that was given in front of a presidential committee in Florida that details all of this, and even goes a step further. There was several soldiers. One was special. No, I'm not going to say that. Several soldiers, all right? Different capacities, different branches, doing different things. All of them were suffering and dying from different shit. Actually, that guy can say, Special Forces, he's dead. But they're all suffering from Gulf War syndrome, Gulf War sickness. A couple of these guys were around bird pits. These other guys were just like out and about, right? These guys were fucking smart enough to take soil samples of the areas where they were, and they got them tested. Those tests came back positive for all the things that I've just discussed, and can be traced back on the molecular fucking level back to shit that was made in the United States. So again, these entities contract with these chemical companies to make a buck, to sell these things to Saddam Hussein. He gets them. They use those weapons. Then those weapons are there. He uses them on the Kurds. We invade. Our guys get sick. They're dying. And the U.S. government goes, yeah, I don't know. Saddam Hussein had some fucked up shit over there. Sorry, you're dying. But we're responsible for it. The United States government, and this is what will get me killed. The United States government does not want to foot the bill for all the veterans that are suffering from Gulf War sickness and Gulf War syndrome because we fucking caused it. We're liable, right? So that's all what Jonathan Pollard was swimming around. Some of the stuff he knew, some of the stuff I saw and was like, whoa, time out, time the fuck out. Like, I'm talking to this guy, he's saying this. I'm talking to this guy, he's saying this. It's the same thing that Tom Clancy did when he wrote Hunt for Red October. You know, the CIA fucking scooped him up and was like, who's talking to you, motherfucker? And he's like, you idiots. You have a naval patent that's over here. This other agency put a patent over here. You put these two things together. You have a silent nuclear sub, dumbass. Oh, dear. And that's it. All these agencies running around doing all this different shit, they're all run by humans, stupid fucking humans, right? We all have the same kind of weaknesses and problems and things that beset us, ideologies, religious views, all kinds of shit, affairs, you know, fucking sexual kinks, especially you, Vince. But like, I'm just kidding. But like,
we don't kink shame on this show.
We don't kink shame.
Just putting that out.
The final rant is just that these guys have been running around doing these things for like, I don't know, America, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's money. Like, it's even with this thing of like blowing up these boats that are coming across, you know, and like, yeah, motherfucker, we killed some drug dealers. No, you didn't. You didn't even make a dent. You didn't even make a drop. You didn't do shit. Like, the majority of dope that comes in the United States comes by submarine, comes by aircraft, comes right across the border in a fucking semi truck. You guys didn't do shit. You're blowing up boats simply for optics. That's what it is. And a show for people that are too stupid to know that it's not fucking doing a goddamn thing. Same thing. And you see Sean Ryan getting really pissed, and rightfully so, about the sex trafficking. Well, it's like, you know, when this announcement came out, I'm like, okay, is the FBI going to be investigating the CIA then? Because the CIA is the biggest dope runner in the fucking planet. What are you guys talking about? Like, it's just this idea of like, oh, those scary cartel like drug dealer guys. It's like, well, who trained them? Who set them up? Like I know the names of the fucking entities that train these guys. And guess what? They're fucking American. Like, it's the wildest fucking thing. And again, creating monsters for us to fight, because war, the war on terror, the war on drugs, the war on fucking everything is profitable. And it sucks. And it really sucks, because it costs lives of people who really believe in the values, in the principles that are in the Constitution, that are in the Declaration of Independence. Like, I believe in those principles. I believe in those values. But it's like, it's gotten fucked up by a bunch of people who just want to make a big, fat bag of cash. So that's the kind of overall summary of Pollard. I agree. Pollard is a very complex character. Like, when you meet him, you're like, oh, this guy's, you know, it's like when you talking to Chase Hughes or something, or talking to one of these motherfuckers, it's like, you know, he's like manipulating the conversation. So I understand that, but there's levels to this. It's like, what he did, 100% wrong. Traitor, 100%. That's why he pled guilty. He pled fucking guilty. And I've read this big ass long letter that I'm only the one of 3 people in possession of it. This big letter that he wrote to Caspar Weinberg, and another letter that he wrote to his rabbi. And he explains like everything in there, and how conflicted he was about being an American, but wanting to protect Israel. And I think that's a problem. And intelligence agencies should fucking pay attention to that. But at the same time, he also found out that it's like, well, why did we invade Iraq? Well, when Saddam Hussein uses these weapons of mass destruction in a way that we don't like, and the world starts to take notice and starts to say, well, we're sending in inspectors and we're going to do soil samples, and we're going to find out where the shit came from, then George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Donald Rumsfeld come to him, more Donald Rumsfeld than anything else. And he says, we need to invade. And he goes, fuck off. Like, we're going after this guy, Osama bin Laden, who we also gave support to. But then he's like, then come to find out that his father had full knowledge of this operation where we made this shit. And Donald Rumsfeld fucking ran it underneath George W. Bush Sr. So now you got a real fucking problem. So we come in and, there's no weapons of mass destruction. Oh, you fucking lied. But yeah, I'll take that. I'll be like Batman at the end of Batman. Oh, he killed Two-Face. Now we'll hunt George W. Bush and he'll be the bad guy for the rest of history because it was a lie. There were no weapons of mass destruction. No, we got a fucking hold of them. You want to know how I got to know we got a hold of them? Because the chemical companies that made the chemicals bought the chemicals back. How's that? How's that? Is that fucking crazy? That the cyanide that was still in weapon systems in Iraq, they went, oh, hold on. Hey, don't get rid of that. Don't destroy this. We'll buy it back from you. Oh, well, we can make money off of that exchange. And that's exactly what they did, at least for those four. The same ones that sent it bought it fucking back. That's insane. And the rest of it was sold. It was sold. It was sold to different organizations. It proliferated all throughout the fucking Middle East and Ukraine. So it ended up there as well. So were there weapons of mass destruction? Yeah. Saddam used them. Of course. They existed. The CIA helped him fucking build them. We just got in there before the invasion, broke that shit down, got rid of it, resold, stripped all the parts, and we're like, who wants some wheels off of this car? Who wants the paint? Who wants the body? Who wants all this stuff? That's what I saw. That's what I was able to see and go like, oh, this makes sense. They sold cyanide. They bought it back. What was the end user? Oh, there it is in Iraq. Got it. Fuck. And, the United States is responsible for all kinds of shit. But it is fragmented. So I truly believe that some of these people that go and give testimony go, we have no knowledge of any of this. This is bullshit. This is dog shit. I don't know what this is. This is weird. Bury the CDC flagging these shipments. You guys aren't going to talk about this shit anymore. Don't talk about it. Okay. Well, I think that some of these people actually don't know what the fuck is going on. Or somebody from some dark entity goes into their office and goes, you won't talk about this. I don't know. I don't know that end of it. I just know what happened on these cases. And that is enough for me to go, well, now we have soldiers dying of Lyme disease. They don't know it's Lyme disease. They're just dying and they don't know why. Or West Nile virus. You can actually trace that to a West Nile virus outbreak in an IDF camp. And another camp that was in Iraq that had British soldiers. There was also an outbreak. Well, that outbreak, that fucking outbreak came from the US. So yeah, man, it's just all this kind of like convoluted mess. And it's weird that now I'm seeing people going online and like making these hard lines in the sand, traitor, shame, or this or that. It's like, yes, traitor for sure. Served his time in prison for sure. Underwent horrific, unspeakable things that happened to him. And people go, I don't care. He's anti-American. You know what's anti-American? Selling out your military, creating Frankenstein's monster to kill a bunch of you guys. That's fucked up. Like, that's fucked up. That's selling out your country. That's traitorous behavior, And so that's my opinion. That's currently why I don't live in the United States. My name's Adam. That's my TED Talk. I'm going to shut the fuck up now.
Oh, dude, man. That was a serious data dump. God.
Right. Sorry. I had to do it somewhere. And
dude.
You did the exposition dump to get us up to speed. Got it.
Yeah. Do not apologize.
I just had nobody else wanted to fucking talk to me. Brian Callen he's funny as fuck. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. When I got picked up by the State Department in Bosnia, which was fucked up for my fiance. It was fucked up for our kid, and it was just fucked up. It was uncomfortable. I won't make it bigger than what it was, but it was just like, really? Like, fucking really? Like, why? Like, why the fuck are you guys hassling me for? Like, there's bigger problems. And the guy was cool, and we've since communicated since then. And now he wants to do a movie about his life.
Oh, Jesus.
The guy fucking interrogated me. It's hilarious. I love him, though. He's a good dude. But yeah, man, it's like, Brian was like, come on my show, dude. Come on my show and we'll talk. And I showed him some things, showed him some receipts. So he knew I wasn't just like full of shit and just popping off the mouth. And this guy's, read some stuff or talked to some bad people or whatever. Like I showed him flight manifestos. I showed him chemical contracts. I showed him sales, receipts. I showed him shit that wasn't redacted. And he's like, all right, come on my show. But then like during the show, he paused a couple times. He's like, yo, man, my dad was in the government, Adam. Like, I don't think you should say certain things. I was like, all right, I'll shut the fuck up. So it was kind of censored. But this is the first time. This is the first time that I've kind of, laid shit out.
Dude, it's sobering, for one thing. Because when you serve in the military, you realize, there's some fucked up shit going on, but it's very rare that you encounter somebody who joins purely out of altruistic reasons. My family was patriots since way back. I'm joining to serve my country. I didn't join to serve my country. I joined because I was out of fucking options. I completely half-assed my way through high school. I barely graduated. I couldn't get into any school, so I said, fuck it. I joined the military, and I was good at what I did. I had fun. I was taking the king's coin. I was making a living, and that was the end of it. But, in the back of your mind, you still have this, like you said, you still believe in the Constitution. You still believe in the unalienable rights of Americans. And listening to this, I don't want to say it's got me super fucked up, but I will say it has left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm naturally cynical to begin with. This has made me even more so. So, yeah. Or
dude,
what do you got, brother?
Dude,
for me,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like, I think the good thing is like, I don't know everything, and that's what pisses me off about a lot of these podcasts is when people go, I'm glad Americans are finally waking up to the fact. Well, waking up to what? Waking up to your truth, to your facts? Like, because the reality is, for me, my experience, and this is why I don't live in America anymore. One, because I just can't. Like, I was involved in two different, and anybody can like dig around, all the people that have pissed off by coming on here and saying this stuff. Dig around, talk to your friends, talk to your buddies, talk to the FBI LA office and talk to the FBI New York City office. I was involved in two different investigations, right, where they came to me and said, hey, really bad guy in this circle. We want to talk to you about it. One specifically dealt with Hollywood, and one dealt with this thing that I was, this story that I was working on that I ended up going, oh, fuck that. I'm not touching this. But in the one, I told these gals, these two ladies, FBI agents, I just said, you guys are coming after this one scumbag, and I get it, right? Like, he's a scumbag. Take him, have at him, cut him to pieces. Fuck this guy. Like, he's a scumbag, right? There's a lot of them in Hollywood, but they pale in comparison to how many of these motherfuckers there are in Washington. A lot. These guys that are like, fuck gay marriage. Yeah, let me call my boyfriend so I can take him, to dinner tonight. I don't know how Matt Getz still has a show. This dude was, paid for a 17-year-old's braces, in exchange for sex, was flying her around. Like, I don't get it. And and people go, whoa, wait a minute, man, that's hearsay. Okay, well, the guy's admitted to paying for sex all over the place. Is that the guy you want to be getting your news from on Fox? You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's
but this one time he totally didn't.
Yeah. I don't get it.
This time he's telling the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I told these ladies, I go, you know, you're going after this one scumbag, right? But like, you can go to any massage parlor in West Hollywood and they're all brothels, and mixed in with the women that are sex workers and OnlyFans people and whatever the fuck, you will have people that are trafficked. 100%. Why don't you do something about that? Just right down the street, right down from your big ass office. Nothing? Not going to do anything? Hey, how about I write down some names of things for you? Because I used to do security. And you know, doing like block security for like businesses and stuff like that. And then did some like bouncer work. This is before I was doing like close protection stuff. But it's like, it's so massive. And Sean asked the question. He's like, why are we going to Haiti? Why are we doing Sound of Freedom where we're going into foreign countries and rescuing them kids that are trafficked? It's like, it's all here. Like, the number one consumer of child pornography and producer is the United States. Number one consumer of illegal drugs in the world, United States. But we're going to go get those bad guys. Yeah, why not the people that are demanding it? Why not the people that are participating in it? It's all right fucking here, dumbass. Like, it's right here. Oh, why? Well, because I don't know, Adam. Adam, you're asking very tough questions. These are questions, important questions, but they're tough questions that you're asking. Hold on one second. Let me break apart this Vivez. Okay, so anyway, what were you saying about drugs? So it's like, you know, like, Jesus. And all these motherfuckers, sorry, dude, I've seen it, right? Like, these guys are all this way. Like, you know, so I don't get this. I don't understand this. And it's hard to see that side of it. Back to the FBI thing, because I just said, why don't you go make a dent? Like, if I know this, I'm just a common person. Like, if I know this and everybody else knows this, and I'll say something too. All the comedians that have podcasts know this, because the Laugh Factory is just a couple blocks away. I used to see a lot of those motherfuckers. I used to see a lot of guys talking family values and this and that on their podcast, coming down there to get a rub and tug. So, like, you know, oh, but family, Jesus, say a prayer in front of crowds. Get the fuck out of here. You're a cult leader. And now you just figured out a different cult because you got busted a while back. So now you're going to say prayers on stage with Tucker Carlson. Fuck you. Like, I know the people you abused. Like, I know the shit that you were up to. Like, Hollywood is a dirty, dirty fucking place. And I got to get down. I got to get down in the knife fight with people. And I never participated in any of that fuckery, but that's because I surrounded myself with people like you. I surrounded myself with people that nobody wanted to fuck with. It's not because I was a bad motherfucker. I was like, ooh, you consultant on, you know, this military channel show. I like you. We're going to be friends. Let's go get a beer. You know, can you come with me to this meeting? Because I'm going to talk about this military movie and you just give your advice. But before we do that, talk about all the people you killed. So these guys know what fucking time it is, you know? And, but it's like, nobody's making a dent, man. Nobody's making a dent. You don't blow up boats and make a dent. Child trafficking, shit like that. Nobody's making a dent.
You're not going to make a dent. The moment you make a dent, you're cutting off somebody's money supply.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. The moment you make a dent, the moment you start making a difference,
people's wallets get lighter and they get pissed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, honestly, man, Sound of Freedom was so like rah, cool, whatever. Like, it was piecemealed together with a bunch of different stories that were half-assed and kind of true and not really true. It's a great story. It's a good movie. I like the movie. I like Jim Caviezel. He came out and support Man Down. He's a good dude. But it's like, you know, I think the best movie about child trafficking was You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix, or You Were Never Really There. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, that was intense. That was an intense movie.
And the reason is because he works his way up and goes, oh, fuck. Like it's like the governor. It's like the dude like in there, you know? It's like it goes that high. And I think that's the shit, you know, with Epstein. I mean, it's so fucking obvious that these guys just go they campaign all around it. Day one. Yeah, I think it's time. I think the people need to know. That's what he's saying. I think the people need to know. Day one, I'm going to do that. I'm also going to do the JFK files. I'm going to do that. You know? And then Dan Bongino, I can tell you what the problem is because the people that don't want it to come out are on the fucking list. And Cash Patel, day one, I'm on the list. I'm gonna get the list. I'm gonna fucking me. You know, he does that shit. And then they go, there's not a list. And then the guys even got the balls to go on Joe Rogan and go, you think if I knew about people being sexually assaulted, you think I wouldn't tell you? Yeah, that's exactly what I fucking think. And then now it turns out it is real. And then it's not real. It is real. Now it's going to be released, but we're going to spend months redacting all the names that are on it. Like, wake the fuck up, people. It's all of them. Like, it's all of them with very few exceptions. It's all of them. I remember talking to Robin Wright Penn. She's a tremendous human being, phenomenal actress. She's unfucking believable. We had the same acting instructor, this lady named Joanne Barron. She runs the D.W. Brown, Barron Brown studio in Santa Monica. I got to meet her and I talked to her about House of Cards. And I was just like, so what was your research in that? Like, what did you do? And she goes, I had unfettered access to people in Washington. I got to shadow people. I got to, you know, walk halls. I got to meet with people and ask questions. I did this for a year. And I basically lived there and I was talking to everybody. And I go, well, what's your like biggest takeaway? And she goes, Hollywood's a dirty place, but it pales in comparison to Washington. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Because like I know how dirty Hollywood is. I mean, the Diddy parties and everything else. And I'm just like, shit, man. Like that's
you got a shout out from What the Fuck Nation.
There you go.
Put it on the big screen.
I love them boys. I love them boys. Talking a lot of shit.
All right.
Sorry for the rants, guys. This
no.
is just my first time.
That's the reason why I wanted you on here, because I knew you had a story to tell, and you know, I'm just gonna let you tell it. Yeah. You know, I mean, the only question I really have for you, you know, over all this shit is what color is the boathouse in Hereford? Okay, I know Orty's got some questions for you though, so I'm going to let him cut loose.
Fuck, man. I will say this too. Part of the reason, it's not the only reason. There's a lot of other reasons, but the big reason was an hour after I left that office in Los Angeles, I got a call from the guy they were investigating. No fucking way. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. Listen, man, I took an Uber, got off at the VA, met some people over there, had some lunch, walked back. Meeting got bumped, went down to this other cafe, took another Uber back. No way. No fucking way. Not in a million years. Nobody knew where I was going, what I was doing. Nobody. Zero. I get called by this guy who found my number through a friend, which really sucked. But yeah, man, like, the fuck is that? So then I'm like, I can't do this. I'm out. So make movies and produce outside the US, it's much better for me. It's healthier, definitely for my mental health.
Better on the Constitution.
Yeah.
But Orty, you have anything for Adam?
You know, yeah, I was just kind of laughing how, you know, you were talking about how you're not, I mean, your level of cynicism. I mean, I do a show where we talk about fucking MK Ultra, Operation Sea Spray, and, you know, how you mentioned the weaponization of Lyme disease, which is kind of interesting because, you know, there's theories that it was already weaponized on Plum Island before. I want to go, yeah, no, it's Lyme disease is pretty unnatural to begin with. And then to amplify that for Gulf War syndrome is really extraordinarily shitty. I want to go back to the beginning on all this, though, is, you know, reading through the connective tissue, which you put it together great. I mean, absolutely. It's like, I mean, all these threads that you've pulled, they all exist, you know, independent of each other. It's like, yeah, that's common knowledge, but the way you've tied them together was really fascinating. So, with all of the leaks that went out on each and every individual thing that you've connected, why do you think Weinberger came down on Pollard harder and just kind of, just went nuclear on him while everybody else just kind of got the brushed aside?
Because he was connected to Ames.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
They really had problems. There was so much. If you think about the heat that was coming down at the time, right? Like people were sniffing around Iran-Contra, the Sandinistas, like everything that was happening, there was a ton of fucking heat. And Weinberger also backed off in later years. He said it was one of his biggest mistakes. Like he came in and he said that privately. He said that privately to a lot of people. But there were others. There was oh Jesus. I mean, there was the guy who sought the death penalty for Pollard, and then came back and said, "Oh my God!" Like by the end of his career, he said the things that they said that they put on him that he was responsible for were wildly exaggerated. That's a quote. And that's the guy who sought the death penalty. He was like, I want this guy firing squad. I want him killed. And so it just fits the narrative better for people to just go, this guy was a fucking traitor. End of story.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen of Pollard just looks like an accidental witness.
Yeah. Yeah. But the problem is if you have people that have dual loyalty, like again, like it's recognizing these things, right? Like everybody just wants to go good, bad, black, white. Like it's not that way. You look at Pollard and you just go, well, here's an individual that probably shouldn't have been in intelligence to begin with. Like it really shouldn't. Like if they sussed this guy out, if they sussed his story out and some of the fabrications that he made about, his life and things that he was involved in, they would have gone, yeah, it's not the guy. Like not the guy. Here's the thing. I worked when I was 19 until I was 21. I worked for the Mormon Church's security department. I was born and raised Mormon. I left the Mormon Church a long time ago. But I worked for their security department. Their security department was run by a man named Richard Bretzing. Richard Bretzing was former head of the FBI LA office. But he got in trouble because he covered for an agent that was under his employee who got caught in a KGB honeypot who was Mormon. And so he covered for him, shushed some things up. And then when the guys above him found out about it, they were like, okay, so you can resign or you're being fired. So he resigned and then he went to head up the Mormon Church's security department. His partner was a former CIA agent who was in charge. Not a CIA agent, another agent. I can't remember the agency. But he was one of the guys on the ground at Ruby Ridge. What a great group of guys.
Yeah, right.
So those two guys were running the Mormon Church's security program, and they gave all kinds of fucking information. I mean, dude, our training was unbelievable. I mean, we had counterintelligence. The Mormon Church has got people plugged into different religious organizations, different groups that are all around the fucking world. And they're getting intel all the time because they run it like an intelligence agency. And they hire a lot of former law enforcement. They hire a lot of former FBI guys to work their personal protection, to work their intelligence.
Mexican mafia.
Yeah, yeah. And so
I spent a lot of time on time. I know.
Yeah.
Not as deep as you, but yeah, I kind of get an idea.
So I was around like I got that training. And then when I got my protective service operator training, I went and trained with the NYPD. I worked with Progressive Force Concepts out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Did some, other stuff. But I'm familiar, and then, the writing part of me and the investigative part of me, I'm always like a truffle pig, I'm just digging. But, Brian asked me, he was like, Callan, he asked me when I did his thing, he goes, well, I'm under the impression that all of these agencies and all these entities are, at least I like to think, to operating in the best interest of the country. Like, they're America first at the end of the day. Like, so maybe they got to just do terrible things to keep us all safe at night. That's how I look at it. And I think most Americans look at it. And I said, well, you could say that there's a lot of hardworking, really great, awesome people that work for all these things, but people think like CIA, NSA, DARPA, like they think they're running the show, but it's the black book units that nobody ever admits exists. You know, it's SCS tucked into embassies. It's ground branch ghosts buried inside SAD and SOG. You know, ISA, Task Force Orange. You know, JSOC, J2, that are rewriting the map behind the scenes. And it's because in that world, they have one rule. If you know the full story, you weren't in the room. So like, it's not, so he's like, well, then what scares you? And I go, well, you know, like, it's not surveillance, it's not drones, it's not covert operations in countries that we pretend that we're not in. What scares me, after everything that I've seen and everything that I've learned, and looking at everything that like America's built, the most dangerous intelligence failure is not sending money to Hamas. It's not the terrorists that we're allowing into this country. Those are big concerns, right? But the greatest intelligence failure we have is the one inside of every human being. And the human beings that run these units, that have unlimited money, that have unlimited power, you know? We created, you know, 60 intelligence arms to monitor threats around the world: NCTC, CTC, TERIX, IARPA, NCIX, you know, acronyms that are stacked inside of acronyms and acronyms and acronyms, you know, but almost nobody is monitoring the threat within. Nobody, right? They're all just operating autonomously. So, you know, nobody's monitoring the part of the people who run these things, you know, that's in all of us: the part that lies, the part that hates, the part that has prejudices, the part that has religious beliefs or certain types of ideologies or political leanings.
Exactly. The biggest thing, the biggest enemy is human nature.
The biggest enemy is human nature. Nobody's policing that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their, oh, here's my agenda, but then you have your internal agenda that you can't be spoken.
Yeah. And like, let's be honest, like these things, like some of these things, like just like what? Like, and by the way, it just reminds me of Kash Patel going, "I'll see you in Valhalla, brother." You know, it's like, and God bless him. I think like a lot of the stuff that Pete Hegseth has said is awesome. I'm like, right on, bro. Just learn how to do a pull up without kicking your fucking legs. But it's like, you know, you're getting beat by RFK, like in the pull up game. Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do the pull-ups, you know, and Pete Hegseth's like, yeah. I laugh every time I see that video. But the guy walks out there and it's like, you know, I don't like the Democrats. They're full of shit. They're all super slick and telling us lies to our face, but they're really good at doing it. I always say, like, the Democrats, the difference between Democrats and Republicans is only this: Democrats have better acting coaches. Like, that's it. That's it. They both work for the same people. They're both making profit. They're both doing insider trading. You know, they're both criminals. They're both like full of shit, right? But at least the Democrats like look the part. Like Barack Obama's going to Denzel Washington to get acting, you know, classes before he gives a speech. Pete Hegseth, it's like, who are you going to? Scott Baio? Like, who the fuck is telling you? You come out there and you're like, so gear up because we are the War Department. Be ready. All right. And it's like, what the fuck was that? And all these generals are just like, dude, come on. Like but it's these one-liners, you know, and everybody's doing this. Like, everybody's on Twitter. It's like, Cash, why are you on Twitter defending your girlfriend? Like, do your fucking job. You know, you can't go on The Blaze with Glenn Beck and talk about, you know, the guy before you using the jet for private reasons, and then you're flying around to see your country music sensation who, you know, is Israeli. Like, I don't get this. Israeli country music star sensation. flying around to see her concerts and going to UFC events. Shut the fuck up. Like, what are you doing,
Well,
dude?
Beyonce can be a country music star. Anybody can.
Yeah. But I really think, dude, like these entities, at least some of them, and I'm using a very wide brush, right? But I don't think these are built to protect us from monsters. I think they're built because somebody finally realized the monsters are already inside of us, you know, and they create monsters, a lot of them, you know.
Just make
I
the
and I
monster.
think, and I told Brian, I said, listen, man, if we don't learn or figure out, and it's hard for us as Americans to be able to do that. In fact, no, strike that. It's fucking impossible for regular citizens to be able to police that. We can't. So what do we got to work what we think is the top down to get to an agency that's actually at the top running shit, you know, to police that, you know, and that's why I said it's kind of futile, because if we don't learn to police it, it doesn't matter how many agencies you invent, because that intelligence failure is going to be an extinction event. Like, that's what's going to happen, because we're going to create something that we can't control, something that spreads like wildfire that fucking kills everybody. So, you know, and we see it with AI. Like, it's wild. It's just a wild time to be alive, that we're handing over control of our country to technocrat billionaires. Like, some wild fucking shit. It's like, well, they're all autistic and smarter than us, so we should feel comfortable with that. It's like, no. And all the people talking Christian, family values, you know, all this stuff, you know, they're like, look at Elon Musk. Oh, he's such a great guy. Look at him holding his son on his shoulders. I'm like, the guy who's single-handedly repopulating the earth by impregnating pop stars and interns and
Journalists
like,
and
journalists and whoever is, hey, how you doing? I'm like, let's make comedy illegal again. Nah, you're pregnant. No, I'm gonna make you pregnant. You're pregnant. It's like, these people are crazy, man. Have you seen Jeff Bezos talk? Like, when David Blaine is showing him the magic trick, he's like, David Blaine's like, check this out. I can eat a wine glass. Jeff Bezos is like, this is so funny. He's like Thurston Howell on Gilligan's Island. It's like, these guys are fucking crazy, dude. Like, they're nuts.
the thing I like about Musk, though, is he reminds me of Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. You know, kind of like that arch, but kind of bumbling. So, if I have to choose the evil super billionaire, super villain, then I'm going with Hank Scorpio.
Yeah, because he wants to take over the world, but God, he's so nice.
He's so nice.
He makes sure you have your health plan. You know,
He's
he
so
makes sure
nice.
that there's sausages and beer on Fridays in the cafeteria. You know,
There's a whole hammock district in his company town.
Do you guys think it's tribalism that is the death of us? Do you think that's it? Because, like, there's nothing. And listen, my dad, he was Army, 32 years law enforcement, LA County Sheriff's Department. He worked special investigations. He worked undercover narcotics. He did all kinds of crazy shit. He's got some photos of Charles Manson that nobody's seen, because he was in the car driving him to his booking. It's freaking crazy. But like, my dad, he's got Fox, like, wakes up in the morning. He falls asleep to Fox News. He wakes up to Fox News. Like, that's it. You know, he's got a giant picture of Kenny Loggins' Jesus over the fireplace. Like, that's his life, you know? And so, you know, and I told him, because it's the one, you guys have probably seen it, where Jesus is like this and there's like ripples of water and you kind of see him and he's like reaching in the water.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, he's like, isn't that a great painting? And I said, it just looks like the last thing you see after insulting Kenny Loggins, that, you know, The Danger Zone is a terrible fucking song and he tries to drown you in a river. Like, that's what it looks like. He's
And
like,
yeah, Kenny Loggins probably has the stroke to get that done too.
Yeah.
But I just I don't know if it's tribalism, like, because everybody's like, they're putting, like, I voted for this guy or that guy, so I'm putting my values on them, you know. And it's just like,
No, that's
none of these
absolutely
guys,
Yeah,
none of these guys have your values. None of these guys have your values.
no, it's since time immemorial. You know, since before Rome, since the Etruscan Empire, politicians have been saying anything and everything to make it into office. They've been making wild, outlandish promises. They've been promising people, oh, well, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then they get elected and then they don't do it anyway. And yet, time after time, they still get voted into office by the people that they actually betrayed. And it's
That's wild.
it's insane. I mean, I know that I'm trying to think of that definition of insanity, but it escapes me at the moment. But yeah,
Doing
I'm
the
sure
same thing over and over again.
expecting a different result. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, my identical cousin connected by the spine. He finishes my sentences
You are
for me. I love him.
you
But
are the Gracie Law to my Margot.
You guys
okay, that was the
fucking-
first movie reference for tonight. I love it. No,
That's
I'm
amazing.
sorry. I talked about the boathouse, so it's the second one. Okay.
Yeah.
I just, man, I look at like any of these issues that we have, right? Like child trafficking, like the drug problem, the intelligence problem, like all this stuff that we're seeing is just like the problem's here. Like it's right here. And again, the thing with the whole FBI thing is it's just like I can't trust any I couldn't trust anybody. Like I honestly felt even in that moment after all my experience of talking to people and meeting with people and there's a gal that I'm talking to right now. I got no problem saying this girl's name and in fact I want to because she deserves it. Her name's Diana Fletcher. Diana Fletcher, because people will approach me, and this is how I get this. At least I think this is how I get this, unless I was a part of MK Ultra. But like, I think the reason these stories come to me is because people see like the previous work, they get wind that I'm working with somebody that was a whistleblower or something like that, and so they come to me and they're like, "Hey, man, like everybody's got a story, and everybody thinks their life should be a movie." But Diana Fletcher was absolutely entrapped by the FBI. 1 million fucking percent. She had a company that was called True Cash. You can look this girl up. And then Trueverse. She was doing rewards programs with credit cards and like you get cash back and like stuff like that. She was one of the first people to create this. She had a contract with the Army. Like this girl was doing like big shit. Billions and billions of dollars of transactions. And one day this guy comes to her and he's like, "Hey, so I want to create this rewards program. I represent all these, wealthy individuals, blah, 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 blah. I think your platform would be great for this. I can start this rewards program and this is what we'll do." She goes, "Great. I'll put you in contact with the people that I know." And then they had some dinners and talked about business and what they were doing. Nothing illegal, no illegal activity, none of that, right? And then the guy's using the platform. He's a happy customer. And she's on a yacht one day, and all of a sudden this helicopter flies over, FBI helicopter. These guys rappel down, and fucking she's under arrest. They whisk her off to a prison. All kinds of horrific shit happens to her in that whole situation. And they try to get her serving a 15-year sentence. She cooperates. She's like, "Whatever you guys want. I still don't know what I did that was illegal." And what had happened was the people that were using her platform were using it for illegal activity. But as it so turns out, the individual who approached her, the guy who set everything up, who met with the person to do this activity, all FBI agents, all FBI informants. So it's like, she didn't do anything. And the proof is in the pudding. She ended up serving 3 months. 3 months. So 15 years to 3 months. That's how bad of the activity that she was involved in. But this other motherfucker who was using the platform, who was the one guy in the chain who wasn't FBI connected, he went to prison for a long time. But, all the shit that this woman had to go through, she served 3 months, but had 2 months where she was just in limbo. And during that limbo time, the FBI is leaking to all of her people, "Oh yeah, she's involved in criminal activity. She's going away 15 years. Definitely. Like she's done." And she lost her business. She lost her house. She lost her car. She lost everything. She doesn't have a fucking dime. She's got nothing. And so it was just crazy over nothing, man. They ruined this fucking girl's life. And that's true too. Like the FBI does really well with entrapment, and that's how they that's how they get a lot of their people. This
That's
new,
the stock and trade now is entrapment.
yeah,
It's not solving crime. It's just setting up crimes.
Yeah, well, like they had this crew. Sarah Adams again was talking about this crew that was like a terror cell, terror network that was planning all this stuff. Well, it turns out they found these guys and then started feeding them information of like, what if you guys did this? What if you guys? So like, how does that work? I go to sorry to use this, but like I go to Muhammad and I go, hey Muhammad, it'd be a cool idea if you bombed a train. What the fuck are you talking about? I would never bomb a train. Well, check out the train first. And Mohammed's going, I don't even know how to build a bomb. Well, we can help you with that. We can definitely give you the materials to build that bomb. And it's like, at what point does this become like, again, you're making the monster? And that's a small example of what has been done. I mean, the Jonathan Pollard thing and reviewing that shit, like I got into a meeting with a guy who scared the shit out of me. Like, cold-blooded arms dealer. Like this dude was gnarly. And I sat down with him and that's where the truth comes out. Like that's where I start to see the truth. Like Shia LaBeouf told me this when I'm working on something with him right now. It's going to be the first thing that I direct. He's going to be in it. And we were talking and I said, where does like the truth start for you? And he goes, whenever I'm looking at a character, it's what do they have for breakfast? Because that tells me everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, what do they have for breakfast? What do they like to have? Do they wake up in the morning and have a cup of coffee? That's it. They're out the door. Do they not eat breakfast? They just get up and go work out. Do they have Frosted Flakes? Do they like eggs, bacon, this is right up Vince's alley, but like eggs, bacon, got everything laid out, but tells you everything about the person. And so in my meetings with people, it wasn't meeting Pollard, which was a great experience. I got to get a lot of information from him, but that wasn't it. It was meeting with people that knew him in prison. It was meeting with people that did dealings with him. It was people that were on the ground, like in the fucking thick of it, Shin Bet officers, Mossad guys, like meeting with those guys. But I sat down with this arms dealer and, he's the guy that put me on. I'm like, who are you talking about? And it was the, what was it? OSAC, something. OSAC, I think might have been the agency. I'll find it and let you guys know. But it's changed over the years, and it's not what it is now. It's Reagan era, this agency. I think even at one time it was called like the special agency,
Overseas Security Advisory Council, back during Reagan.
Might have been that, or like the Special Collection Service or some shit. I remember it sounded like a bad 80s punk band name. I just couldn't remember. By the way, who's naming these things? Like, why? I said that to WTF. I was like, why do you name an agency Hydra? Like, don't you know? It's a comic book villain. Like, don't you just know that?
It's exactly out of a Frederick Forsyth book. I don't know if you've ever read The Fourth Protocol. It's an excellent movie too with Michael Caine. You need to see it. They were having an argument in the cabinet briefing office, the Brits, and one guy was upset because he didn't have a title. Everyone else had a title, but he didn't have a title. So they made up an acronym for him on the spot. They called him the Supreme Head of Intelligence Targeting. And he said, "No, I don't want to be the shit of Whitehall, thank you." And he dropped the subject.
It's
amazing book. Frederick Forsyth is the shit. I love him to death.
He's amazing, dude. This guy, what he said to me just made me just flip my lid, and then I started digging and looking. I'm like, oh God, there it is. Like, there it is. Like, the name he gave me was the name that was on these Fourth Protocol is good. The was on one of these manifestos in the shipping and receiving of these chemicals from America. But he told me, he said, I learned quickly that once I was contacted by the CIA, that I was I learned after 2 of these transactions that I was going to get contacted by 2 other entities that were going to tell me to do something different, that are all under the same agency. But they literally, like this, he was contacted by somebody else who said, I know you just met with this agent. I know this is what this agent wants you to do, what he wants you to, be working on. We have a different priority. Well, fuck, if I don't do this, then I'm in shit with this guy. No. We'll handle it. We'll take care of it. But this is what you're going to do. So, okay. And you guys are over him. Yeah. He doesn't know about us. You're just dealing with me. Don't ever bring me up or you're dead. Right. So it's like agencies are working against each other, like the FBI is working against the CIA is working against the NSA, but they have these departments that make sure they communicate with each other and they work better with each other. And that'll cost the taxpayers even more money to make sure that these agencies are talking to each other and playing nice with each other. But when they're not playing nice with each other, they're trying to kill each other. It's wild.
Yeah, fusion centers were fucking great idea. They've worked out so well.
Yeah, it never does. So,
to answer your question with the acronyms, I think they come up with something that is whatever the exact opposite of what they are is, like Central Intelligence, not so much. National Security, hilariously not.
Yeah, I said to somebody, I go, why do these names sound like items that you would buy at a like in the homoerotic section of a sex shop? Like what? What was I can't remember who I said that to. Maybe it was the WTF guys. I love those guys so much. Oh yeah, I said Torn Victor, Centra Spike, Gray Fox, Orange Blossom,
Throbbing Gristle.
They're furry names.
We're gonna name. By the way, these are all real. Like I'm sure the people who listen to you guys know this, but like everything that I've said, every single one of these acronyms that I've dropped, they're all fucking real. Like it's wild. The activity, Task Force Orange, Task Force Blue, like Advanced Systems and Tech Directorate, Ground Enterprise Directorate, like Office of Global Access. Okay.
It's like the name we give to APTs. It's like Fuzzy Bear. Really? Okay, I get Bear Russian, but Fuzzy, why? Just say APT 47. Well, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah.
The guys in charge of code words are bored. They gotta find their excitement somehow.
All cool ones were used during World War II. They've got nothing left.
Yeah, that's true. I said, who was I talking to? Was I talking to you, Vince? When I said then there's a whole nother section that sounds like Metal Gear Solid.
Yes,
like
when we were on the phone the other day. Yes.
Yeah, I was like
Arctic Fox.
And there's one that's actually in Metal Gear lore. That I found, the Foreign Denial and Deception Committee. Like that's an actual thing, FDDC, and it's a real interagency group, but it's also in Metal Gear Solid lore. There's new like Joint Functional Component Command for Space, JFCC Space. Like it sounds like they like pilot a bipedal orbital laser cannon. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what do they do?
They're working on a top.
You're not organization. You're just LARPing Halo.
Yeah, I mean, but dude, then there's ones that have like giant ass budgets that are run by literally like one person, like ANA, like the Office of Net Assessment. Like it's literally run by one. It's a think tank that is under the Pentagon that's been run by decades by one person. It's straight up like the Patriots. Like it's wild. So yeah, National Ground Intelligence Center. They look at DNA of dead, like soldiers. Technical Operations Group. I can keep going on. Like Damn. all these fucking guys. Special collect. I think that's what it was. Special Collections Service. I think that's what it was. It might have been. But then there's Hydra, Ground Branch, Air Branch, like all these fucking things. They have just so much money. So much money. It's whack. So anyway, now that you guys are all on no-fly lists, what would you like to discuss?
Dude, that's okay. I don't fly anymore. I take trains. I ain't worried about it.
I gotta tell you, it gives
Yes,
me so much joy to get on Twitter and to see your recipes and like it's just so. I'm like, this guy knows so much darkness, and yet like he's just talking about like the food you talk about, and it's actually like amazing. Like I love the stuff you talk about and the films you reference, like the horrific films you reference.
Dude, if I didn't share this stuff with people, I would literally go insane. I mean, number one, because I love food and I want people to eat and have a good time and enjoy, you know, having people over and eating good food and drinking a lot of wine, especially drinking a lot of wine. So I post recipes every once in a while. There's stuff. My dad had a big strong box, and they were just filled with recipes that were handwritten. And I haven't even deciphered maybe a quarter of the recipes that he has in that box or that he put in that box. And I'm no professional. I used to work the pressure cooker at KFC when I was in high school. I can make KFC. I can tell you the secret ingredients in KFC. It's grease, MSG, and salt. That's it, pretty much.
I remember when I was in China, I was in Wuhan. I was teaching English to grade school kids. This is like after my stint with the Mormon Church, and they were making pasta. And they hadn't really made like a bolognese, and they were making it in a wok. And I just thought it was really cool because they were like trying something new and they were like experimenting, like the cooks. And I was like friends with them at the school and at Wuhan University, and the cooks were like, she like reaches into this thing and takes like a half cup of this, it looked like salt, and just goes like dumps it around. And I go, oh, is that salt or like garlic salt? And she's like, oh no, MSG. And I was like, oh, that's not good. I was like, don't do that. By the way, quick shout out. There's this guy, Dean Balsamo. I love this man. He reminds me of you. I think you need to follow this guy because he's so far out and I just love him. I've watched him forever. I've never met him in person. I knew of him like 8 years ago on Instagram or something. And he does this, like, he's a writer and he does like this poetry, and he's an older gentleman. I don't assume to know how old, but I think he's up there. And, but he does this poetry and makes these like psychedelic like videos to the poems he writes. And it's like spoken word, like this like spoken word stuff. And it's so cool, man. Like I freaking love it. And he's just a guy doing what he loves. And anyway, I saw him pop up on here. And so shout out to that guy. He's just really creative and really awesome. Just a great dude. But his stuff is far out. It's so far out. So fun to watch.
You have to be far out. I mean, especially on Twitter. I mean, you interact with people. You join Twitter, you get a feel for it, and then you naturally gravitate towards people who tend to think like you do. Not necessarily politically, because I try to stay out of politics as much as possible.
It's all theater.
I've blocked so many politicians, and Orty gets into fights with politicians. I don't, because that's
I get into fights with randos who are so super sure of their position.
Okay, well, yeah, that
I'll
too.
take I'm contrarian. Sometimes I'll take the opposite side of something just to drag my balls across somebody's face.
Dude, I love you.
He's keen on the ball dragging, but
I just don't. Spending time doing, and listen, it was a short-lived kind of a thing, but like when you're, we did security for the Golden Globes one year, we did it for the Academy Awards one year. Like when you're in green rooms, it's a very different world, right? Like there's the red carpets and people giving interviews and pre-rehearsing what the fuck they're going to say, right? But then you get into the green rooms and you get to see how people are. It was the same thing when I was on the Comic-Con circuit. Like the Comic-Con circuit, get to be in green rooms, get to meet people when they're at their highs, at their lows. But, like I get to see people who are now running podcasts talking about, are you guys still there, by the way?
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, okay. So, but I've seen people with podcasts talking about family values, and I'm like, homie, I remember you walking off stage talking about, tucking in your daughter with a bedtime story and that you need to leave early, and you walked off with 3 escorts. Like, what are you talking about? So
Damn.
I think we lost. They got him.
Oh shit. No.
Got me.
No, I can still hear you, brother.
Okay, so they got him. Shit.
Okay. We'll give him a couple of minutes, see if he comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the link is still active. He can come in anytime he likes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he is coming across the Gulf of America. So.
yes. There he is. Let me bring him back in.
Right on. Good, because I didn't want to do 10 minutes of show puppets.
Welcome back.
So where I was at is I just said where we got cut off is I was just saying, like, spending time in green rooms, right? At the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, at events, film festivals, stuff like that, parties, crap, tooling around. I did a stint with Mitt Romney. Am I gone? Am I good?
No, you're back.
You're still
Okay.
here. Yeah.
They got a 3-minute delay.
Got it. So but I did a stint with Romney, who at least, for all of his imperfections and disconnections from actual working people, the guy at least believes in America. Like, he believes that the Constitution is a holy document that needs to be protected. He believes that God is somehow, behind the USA. Like, he believes these things in his heart. Like, he'll start reading the Constitution and start crying, like, he's that kind of a guy. And so I couldn't really find fault in him. I don't agree with his politics, you know what I'm saying? But, like, at least that's somebody that I go, well, that's a guy who's trying to be honest and, like, forthright, but spending time kind of with the valets, with the help, with the people that are, like, serving everybody else and being a servant for so long in my life, you get to see the truth about people. You know what I mean? And so
it's like upstairs, downstairs, that old show.
Yeah. So when JD Vance started running, like, I know 2 women that have stories about JD Vance, and it's like the same thing with Swalwell. Let's take the other side of the equation. Swalwell's, talking all his stuff. I know, his side piece. Like, so
that dude is compromised to fuck. Jesus.
Yeah, I remember watching a certain governor walk in one day, and he came walking in, and it's just like it's all theater. So, like, I don't get caught up in rules anymore. I worship people for a long time. When I worked for James Cameron, every time James would come in, I'd be like, oh my God, it's James Cameron. Fuck. When I was on set with Martin Scorsese, I mean, that guy is, in my opinion, like a perfect filmmaker. Like, he's it. Christopher Nolan's fantastic. Michael Bay does his thing. I think Tony Scott would have been given, he didn't take his life. There's some mystery around that as well. But I think he would have gone on to rival Scorsese. I think Tony Scott's a better filmmaker than Ridley.
Yeah, he's the more, sure. I was about to say he's the more talented of the Scott brothers. Definitely.
He's incredible, dude. Like, his movies were phenomenal. And so, but when you get around these guys, there's a certain worship, and people do that around celebrities. They do it around religious figures, and, like, but now, for the first time in my life, I'm just like, fuck it, I'll do it myself, and there's real power in that. And I think maybe, I don't know if I'm feeling optimistic, and I'll turn it to you guys, but, like, if I see any kind of hope in America, it's not in voting. Doesn't fucking matter. And it's not in politicians. They don't fucking matter. They don't. It's in the people. The people are going to have to do something. I see the those 3 teenagers who their stepdad was, molesting their sister, and those guys went out and beat them to death. Sounds good. Like, I think people got to take out their own garbage. I think people got to handle their own shit. And America's in a really weird place because politicians, ideologies, they're pitting the people against each other. But I really do believe that if people just sat down and just went, hey, what do you want? Oh, that's what I want. Okay, cool. What's getting in the way of that? I remember the first fight I ever got into no, I take that back. First fight I got into was in elementary school. I was trying to protect my sister, and these guys kicked the shit out of me. I showed up like the hero, like, don't touch my sister. And then these guys are like, oh, you hit me? And just beat the crap out of me. Second fight I got into in junior high school, this kid named Zamian Calvin, and we were African-American kid. And these guys came to me, and they were like, yo, this dude's talking all kinds of shit about you, man. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, really? And so I'm sitting in class, and I look back at this guy, and then I'm down in my work, and suddenly he hits me in the back of the head. He made this giant spitball. He had worn this up, and he hit me in the back of the head. I'm like, oh, it's on. So we leave the class, and he pushes me, and he's like, yo, man, you called me the N-word? And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man, you called me the N-word. That's what all these guys are telling me. I'm like, who fucking told you that? And there was this other dude, Chris Miller. And he was like, that guy, Chris. And I was like, Chris told me you were talking all this shit about me, that you were saying all this stuff. He's like, wait, hold on. You didn't call me this? I said, never happened. And then he's like, I don't believe you. I was like, I don't believe you. And he's like, get Chris. So he pulls Chris over, and I was like, Chris, did you tell him this? And then we find out this dude's lying. Then we beat the shit out of him. And then we became best friends. And then we became friends for years and years and years until we fell out of contact. We were all the way through high school and the college. But I feel like that's it. I feel like if the American people really sat down with each other and we're like, we're getting played. We're getting played about everything. Everything.
It's that, definitely. But I think the one thing that you have to overcome is the bread and circuses effect. Especially tonight of all nights. What's going on tonight? Ooh, a whole bunch of football. Give them sports. Give them cheap, easily prepared snacks and carbonated drinks, and you can get away with anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And the Romans figured it out. Give them bread and circuses, keep them happy, and it worked for hundreds of years until the day it stopped working. So, yeah.
And that's AI. AI is, we're going to give you your best friend, your therapist, your best companion. I know people that families are falling apart because they're just sitting on ChatGPT and they're just like, oh, this is the sorceress that fucking answers all my questions, right? But they're also attacking the arts. So oh, I can make my own movie. Fuck you. I want the Hulk to fight Superman and marry Wonder Woman. And Wolverine officiates the wedding. That's the movie I want to see. And I can make it right now. I can press a button. And I'm an artist just like you. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're prompting. You're a prompt engineer. And that might be valuable for special effects, or might be valuable for some other thing that you want to spice up. But if you're writing a story and coming from a writer, and you're putting that down and you're having ChatGPT write it for you, fuck off. You haven't earned anything. And by the way, you're a dunce. You're less than a dunce. You're the dumbest motherfucker on the face of the planet. You don't know how to write. You don't know how to compose. You don't know how to do poetry. You had somebody do your work for you. Fucking lazy son of a bitch. That's my feeling about it. But there's tools within AI that can help save money, that make it so you don't have to have $150 million production budgets. And by the way, actors are getting paid too much. Film financing is all a pyramid scheme. Anybody, and he's so right, the arts and defense and PSYOP for sure. I just saw that pop up in the chat.
Yeah.
That is it. Dude, I've been the projects that I mentioned that I'm working on. It's all been people going hey man, I'm in the CIA. My life's a story. Larissa will tell me all the time. She's like, how do these people find you? Like, why are you getting calls like out of the blue? Like, hey, former FBI agent, your name popped up on my radar. What radar? What radar? Because why aren't you talking to Ty Sheridan? You know, why aren't you talking to like, you know, the writer of this? Why are you talking to me? You know? So, but I just think AI is the new thing. Like, oh wait, you mean I can make a bunch of money? I can make my own. I can entertain myself to death, like Neil Postman wrote about. You know, I can entertain myself indefinitely, and I'll get a little bit of money, you know, to keep me afloat. I'll get the $2,000 check from Trump. You know, I'll get the basic livable wage. I'll just entertain myself to death. Of course, the arts, attack the arts, and use it for propaganda. It's wild, man. It's so fucking wild. Crazy what's going on. But I will give this to your audience. If you guys want to make a movie, it's very simple, and you want to make it profitable, very simple. Works like this. You take your story. So what genre is it? What director you have or would like to have? What actors, and I don't mean Brad Pitt in every single one of your fucking movies, but you get like actors, good actors. Find out, you know, you get that package together, or a package that you would like. If you're not able to get them, but would like to get them. I'm not talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm not talking about Brad Pitt. I'm not talking about any of these people. But you find solid actors, right? Take that package and then start making inquiries to production companies and to sales companies, sales and distribution companies, and saying, what's the minimum of what a movie like this would go for domestically? What would it sell to theaters for? They'll give you a number. They go, about $2.7 million, $3 million, whatever. That's the budget of your movie. Don't go over it. That's it. Try to go under it. That's the budget of your movie. Don't spend $1 more.
Dude, if I'm making any movies, I'm going straight to the asylum. I'm making direct-to-video shit.
That's right, baby. And then everything that you make off of that is gravy. But it's like, you know, everybody's making $150 million movies. It's dog shit. Like, I had this, Joe Lynch has got a movie that I'm doing with him. It's called Meat Paw. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I read the script. You sent it to me.
It's fucking
It's
great.
fucking amazing. I'm not
awesome.
spoiling it, but it's fucking amazing.
It's
Dude.
so fun. It's so fun. And we got great actors and it's great. But, you know, we've been working with this company and we're waiting for paperwork and all this stuff. We're going to get it. And if not them, there's another one that's lined up to do it as well. But, you know, we're all good. But it's, you know, where I was going with that is that the route that we had to go through and the actors that we had to talk to and the rates that they were asking were just unfucking believable. And it's because this star worship has been allowed to go on for so long. It takes hundreds and thousands of people, sometimes thousands of people, to make a movie and to make a movie that's worth a damn. Nobody sets out to make a shit film. Some people, but like no people really, you know, set out to make a shit film that's not going to make any money, right? Or that's going to impoverish them. And so when I see shit on LinkedIn or on Twitter or whatever, on X, of people saying like, "Oh, this script should never have been made into a movie. It's all I went and saw this movie, and it's obvious that the problem is the script." Fuck off. Fuck right off. Are you talking about the script that was given to producers, that producers did a pass and gave notes and gave back to the writer that he implemented or she implemented? Are you talking about the script that then went to a director and the director did his or her pass on the script, right? And then gave it back to the writer and then he implemented all those notes? What about the actors who were then approached? What about the agents? What about the assistants at the agencies? What about the production company and the assistants at the production company who all signed off? If it's a studio movie, what about all the studio execs who had notes? And then everybody who sat in the rough draft cut or the rough cut of the film and gave all their notes. And then everybody that gave their notes all the way through completion. All those people, but the problem's the fucking script. Eat a dick. Because they take the person that's on the lowest of the totem pole and then they cut their head off. And they go, that person's responsible. The problem was the script. The script was never good. It was good enough to pay, you know, this actor to be in it. So what are you talking about? It's a lie. Like I see movies and I go, that's an editing problem. I see that right there. That's an editing problem for sure. Or, oh, that's a direction problem. Or, oh, maybe the actor had too much control over that scene and that's why it went off the rails. Like, you can see those things. I hardly ever see a movie where I go, well, it's the writing, unless they're purposefully, like it's the writer director or something, or a writer's given, too much leeway or power or something like that. But there's all these checks and balances. I mean, there's literally about 100 people that touch that script before it makes it to the screen.
Before it became Ernest Goes to Camp, it was a sequel to Casablanca.
Yeah. Fucking
dude, I have 3 words
you
for
said
you.
just like the Star Wars IP. That's exactly right.
Yes.
Like,
well, you know my theory about Star Wars, right? Sometime in the mid-'60s, George Lucas killed a man, and in that person's belongings was a script to Star Wars and half of Empire.
that's amazing. I buy it.
Works out,
Yeah.
right?
And he won a prize for it too.
Yeah, I won a prize on Bounding into Comics for throwing that theory out there.
People also don't understand that, like, Star Wars, when the first Star Wars, when it was done, do you know who was in that screening room?
No.
It's Cabo, wasn't it?
That's right. So Francis Ford Coppola. There was also, I want to say, Steven Spielberg was there. I think David Lynch at one point had taken a gander. But, like, dude, he was getting notes from, like, top people. And, like, Empire Strikes Back is like that film is out of control. Like, they just flipped. Yeah, Spielberg and Coppola. So, like, that film is top. And Return of the Jedi is great. I mean, that trilogy is just fantastic. And then it just goes off the rails because we're now into this thing. I call it homogenized algorithmic-based storytelling. That's what it is. Everybody's thrown out Joseph Campbell. They've thrown out The Power of Myth. They've thrown out Shakespeare. They've thrown out, all the great writings that we've had that have taught us myths and stories. I would even say the Bible. All these mythologies and stories that teach you about leaving the tribe and going and getting that quest and bringing it back and bringing that knowledge back and having a sense of responsibility. All that's out the window.
The hero's quest. I haven't seen a good story about that in years.
Yeah.
And
it's all just giving the people what they want.
Yeah, and exactly. And even if they remake a film, like the Running Man remake.
Yeah.
That just came out recently. Oh dear God. Oh. No.
Terrible.
No.
Just because, like, I have no desire to see it. And I know you guys got to wrap up. So, like, but yeah, that is a problem. It's a problem. These constant remakes and just giving people, this thing so they can relive some kind of nostalgia is just garbage. And these algorithms, and it's funny because, like, shit that I said 2 years ago or shit that I said a year ago, now people are starting to talk about. Like, again, I hit up Chase Hughes. He was nice enough to hit me back. But, like, he was on Sean Ryan's show and he's like, oh, Sean, Edward Bernays, the guy who wrote the propaganda, who went to work for intelligence agencies and do this and do that, the guy who did Chesterfield cigarettes and America's Breakfast and Bacon, this guy who created propaganda. Well, he was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. And Sean's like, no shit. Oh, really? As he always does. And then, I hit him up and I go, finish that genealogy, finish that thought. Because Bernays' great nephew started Netflix. Like, the guy who wrote the book on propaganda and used Freud's methods started Netflix. And he started Netflix with Reed Hastings, whose father was in the Department of Education. And Reed himself sat on the board of education for the state of California. Like, you think that's an accident? I ain't an accident.
Oh, no.
No.
That is
the one guy that's, like, in charge, like, has all this stuff about, propaganda and human behavior, and the other guys, mastered this idea of, education and created the wonderful education program that California has. Jesus Christ. Those two guys get together and start Netflix. Like, and it's all based on giving people what they want, getting those eyeballs glued to the TV, you know? And so, you know, that's what it is. So I hit him up and I was like, why didn't you finish that? Like, keep it going to present day. He's like, oh, we ran out of time. I was like, oh, did you? All right.
And on that note, yeah, we are out of time. And
it's all good, buddy.
I'm sorry to cut you
We
off.
can do this all night, man. This has been a blast.
Oh, seriously. If I were able, I would keep us on at least another 2 hours. But Adam, holy shit, brother, thank you so much.
Dude, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm just glad it's like, you know, this thing about Pollard, I'm glad it's out. I was able to get it out there. And seriously, like, thank you so much. Because I've never been able to say it. And he's trending now. And I'm just like, this is fucking wild. So I wanted to just like get that out there and just let people know, like, traitor, yes, like black and white. He agreed. I'm a traitor. I betrayed my oath, you know, went to jail for it. But man, there's a lot more to that story. And we're in a very dangerous situation as a country. So the only way we fix it is us. Like, it's this. And again, I'll repeat, Vince and I hated each other. That's how we met.
Yes, we were mortal enemies.
We were mortal enemies
for about 2 days.
I gotta admit, Vince, your account looks pretty sketch from the outside looking in. Now you know.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is.
Pretty sus. Yeah.
I need to change the country thing. I got to put Russia on there so people really think I'm fucked up. But
put Symbionese. Put your Symbionese.
But once again, my thanks to Adam Simon for joining us, and my thanks to Orty for always hanging in there with me. And ladies and gentlemen, in the words of the late great Vincent Price, a man who limits his interests limits his life. And we will see you next week. Take care.